Good morning and welcome to today's show. My name's Karen, I'm from Travel Counsellors and I'm joined today by Melissa from C&M Travel Recruitment. So today we're following on from our previous show that we did about ideas of I guess things that motivate you, why you look for a job. So in today's session we're talking about the next stage that you would take, which is preparing a resume. So once you've seen a position that you are interested in, well then the first thing you need to do is send through the resume. Yeah. So and they're really important.
They are, and I think, you know, what is a resume? And there is an official definition, but really it is a document that represents your skills. And for us, you know, it's an opportunity for you to sell yourself to hiring managers to go, yes, we want Karen to call you about that particular job. So, you know, we're here today to help you get those skills and the format and everything that you need to on that document to try and secure that interview.
Absolutely. You know, there's a lot of candidates out there applying for probably the same jobs. So, you know, what the resume needs to do first and foremost is to catch the attention of the hiring manager or the recruiter, whoever that you are sending that through. So, you know, the key things would be to make sure that it's clear, it's precise, it's well put together so that it's easily read. You know, things like don't use fancy writing and font. Sometimes that can be very difficult to read. Yes. Try and keep it all within, you know, 2 to 4 pages. We often see resumes where they go on for too long, and to be honest, you know, the recruiter or hiring manager is only spending a couple of minutes going through. That's so right. You really do need to keep it concise. In saying that, 1 page is too short.
Yeah, that's right.
You'd be a bit concerned.
Yeah, create suspicion.
So a general rule of thumb would be, you know, 2 pages minimum, 4 pages maximum. Things like, you know, you're not having to put a picture up of yourself or an image. I mean, you know, not many people do that anymore, but, you know, unless you're going for an airline position, sometimes the airlines do request that. But, as you know, generally people out there are not interested in having a photo. No borders, just really clear, precise is what people are looking for.
No, that's right. And you know what we find, especially in senior management, is some people might have more than one resume. You were talking about length. You know, what we don't want is 8 or 9 pages, because they're trying to put as much information in as possible. And at an executive level, I suggest to have maybe 2 resumes where you're highlighting your sales skills in one document and your operational skills in another, and using the relevant resume for the position you're going for. So, you know, and I think we have to remember what you were saying, 1 to 2 minutes, sometimes less. You know, you need to capture that hiring manager's attention in that first couple of seconds. I would say, what does it look like? Do I want to ring this person?
Yeah. And what would you say to people about cover letters? Because I know that's also sometimes a question, do I add one or don't I add one?
Yeah, and I think it depends on the job advert. Read it.
Yes.
See what the call of action is. If it says, you know, please send your resume with a cover letter, then you send a cover letter.
Yeah.
If it says, please contact Karen at Travel Counsellors, then you contact her. You don't just send her your resume. So, you know, what we want to make sure is that you're following instruction. Firstly, with the cover letter is exactly that, a short, brief introduction about yourself. Yeah. It's not an overview of your resume. It is, why should this person be considering you for this position? No more than 3 paragraphs, highlighting probably more your soft skills and the results that you've had that may not be on your resume. So yes, definitely if it asks for a cover letter, pop it on there.
Yeah, because I guess the resume is all about what's going to be the content in that, isn't it? So, you know, cover letter doesn't need to be a double up of that. So the content is really important in the resume of what you're going to put on there.
Exactly, and let's talk about the content. You know, the content, bearing in mind we're trying to squash as much information in those 3 to 4 pages. So we want to try and capture, again, I keep saying it, the attention of this hiring manager. The first thing I suggest, or not suggest, that is a minimum criteria, is make sure your contact details are at the top.
Yep.
Make sure your phone number is there, email address, and obviously your name. So it's easy for someone to read, because what we want is that they read where you're currently working and what your achievements are, bang, they want to call you. And if your phone number's not there and they have to look for it, that's a bit frustrating more than anything.
Yeah.
So, and your address is very relevant as well. How far are you from the office? And some hiring managers, you know, don't want huge commuters because they may work long hours, or so make sure that is all at the top. The next part that we like to see on the resume is the objection. You know, what's your career objection? Where do you want to go? Where have you been? You know, it's 3 or 4 lines that describe you away from your skills. Try and keep away from very cliche comments. I'm a team player. I'm a great communicator. Because everyone has that.
Honestly, everybody puts that in there, and it doesn't really make you stand out, or it doesn't make you stand alone, and you know, it doesn't sound like it's a personal objective.
That's right. It's just that, you know, it's something that you think they want to hear. And then the next part, which is probably the most relevant, is the skills. You know, what should I put on there? It should not be your job description. You shouldn't be copying and pasting your job description.
No, we do see that quite often, honestly, and it's very apparent that either you don't know how to put a resume together, or you just feel that it's quick and easy just to copy and paste what from your existing job description. But that's not really what people are looking for. I mean, that's quite easy to do. As your general position, yes, you know, you do have a range of things, duties that you do, but there are core skills that you would use on a daily basis. So identify those ones and make sure that you put those on there.
That's right. Exactly.
That's important.
And more relevant now, and what people want to see on a resume now, is your achievements. Yes, okay, you are a travel consultant in a retail travel store, but what have you done there that's going to make me pick up the phone to talk to you? You know, I've had consistent overachieving sales targets. I've been Employer of the Year. I've increased our store from 20% revenue to 50% growth. You know, whatever it is, that's going to make you different to the other people that you're competing against. So I would say, you know, 4 or 5 points under your skills, unless it's been a position you've had for 10 years, and I would say nothing more than 8 or 9, and then for your achievements, 2 or 3 major ones.
I agree totally. Achievements are really, really important. You know, it's a similar sort of way that you're getting across of what you've done, what you've achieved, and it's the same as if you were going to an interview and people were asking you that same question. So if you've not put achievements before on your resume, I would definitely go back and see, even if you're just starting off with a couple, you know, think back. You've all achieved something in a position, and you know, especially even if you're part of a team, you can have team achievements as well. It means that you do work well in a team as well. So just bear that in mind, and don't be vague.
No, be specific. You know, put numbers on it. Especially, I mean, I know managers like to see, especially when it's about profit growth. You know, we want to know the figures. So yeah, I mean, a question we get as well is, how many jobs do I put on there? You want to put them all on there, unless it was work experience 20 years ago and it was for a week. Okay, maybe we can now leave that one off. But you know, we want to know your career history. So if it was that you have a long CV and you need to cut it out somewhere, maybe that first or second job in the industry, still keep the title and your the company you worked at, but maybe take the duties out, because we want to see how your journey has been through your career. And I think it's important to make sure, we mentioned before, that it flows, that there's no gaps. We don't want to create questions for this person to go, oh, what did they do from this time to this time?
Where were they?
So that's probably we want to keep it simple, is probably the biggest tip when we're looking at skills. And then following on from that, education needs to be on there. You know, previous education would be up the top, and in the recruitment world is, do we have it up the top? Do we have it down the bottom? It doesn't really matter. However, as a recruiter, especially in the travel industry, I would look at the skills and where they've worked before education. Maybe in a different world, we would look at education first and then skills, and that's why I suggest education to be after your skills.